Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about the 5 things that I wish I knew when I started running. I made a lot of mistakes. I learned the hard way. And before we dive into the 5 tips, I just want to let you know that on your running journey, you're gonna need to start before you're ready. Okay, you're going to make mistakes along the way, and that's okay. That's a part of the journey. Part of the journey is a little bit of trial and error, figuring out what works and what doesn't. But here are the 5 kind of mistakes that I made in the beginning that I hope you don't have to kind of follow in those footsteps, and that you can start implementing some better behaviors, some better habits, so that way hopefully you won't run into a lot of the injuries and stuff that I had to deal with in the beginning of my running journey. So let's dive on in to number 1. Yes, I said it. I saw it everywhere on all the running forums and all the running groups. They told me how important warming up and cooling down was. I didn't listen. For some reason, you hear these things like warming up is important, but you don't know why, or you haven't seen the bad side of not warming up, because maybe in the beginning of your running journey, you can just walk for a couple minutes and then start running, and it's not that big a deal until it is a big deal, until you start having knee pain or muscle pains or, soreness that you're not dealing with and that you're not properly warming up and priming your body to perform for you. It's not an issue until it is an issue. So if you are in the beginning of your running journey, my best advice is to start creating good habits now. Properly take the time to warm up. Yes, it's going to add 5 to 10 minutes to your workout, but that 5 to 10 minutes is so much better than dealing with an injury that knocks you out of training for a while. Okay? Take the time to properly warm up. If you enjoy walking before you run, that's great. However, just remember that warming up and walking is maybe a good way to increase your heart rate, but it's not necessarily completely priming and readying your body to run, because walking and running are very different. So how can you warm up the rest of your body? Can you do skipping? Can you do jumping? Can you do some drills? Can you do some squats or lunges? Something that is going to start engaging your muscles and priming your body to run. Don't skip the warm up. That's from, one runner that made mistakes to a beginner runner that I hope never has to deal with some of those issues that I had to deal with, okay? Number 2 is strength training. Okay, I love running. I fell in love with running. I did not like strength training. Trust me, I would rather be running than having to do push-ups and crunches and squats and all those things. I would rather just run. But I ended up getting a lot of overuse injuries in the beginning of my running. I had a lot of IT band issues from not engaging and strengthening my glutes, and that caused a lot of issues. And it took me out of running for a long time, and I wouldn't have had to deal with that if I would have started strength training from the beginning. And when you strength train, it doesn't have to take away from your running. Your strength training should add to your running, because stronger muscles mean you can put more power behind your stride, become a faster and stronger runner. Strength training can enhance your running. It doesn't have to take away from your training. Okay, so do the strength training. And you guys, it doesn't have to be super complicated. You don't need to go to the gym and lift, a 200-pound barbell. You can just start with a couple weights at home, or even doing body weight exercises, lunges, squats, even like single leg deadlifts type things, to start building that stability in your feet and your ankles and your legs, strengthening those hips and those glutes, so that way your body is going to be good and work out any of those muscle imbalances that may cause injury later on in your running. Okay, so don't forget the strength training. Okay, number 3 is the wrong shoes. In the beginning of my running, I was really afraid to invest, $120 into a pair of running shoes when I didn't even know if I was actually going to be super dedicated to running. So I ended up just wearing a super cheap pair of sneakers. I later on went to a running store and just kind of got the cheapest pair of running shoes because I didn't know what I was looking for in a sneaker. I got the wrong size. I didn't get the right shoe for my stride and my anatomy, and I ended up getting a lot of injuries just from not having the right pair of shoes. So I know it's an investment. Getting a pair of shoes is an investment, but allow yourself to invest in yourself. If you have the desire to run, don't give up on yourself. Don't count yourself out. Don't say, hey, I can't invest in a pair of running shoes because I don't know if I'm actually going to stick with running. Invest in the pair of shoes first, and then allow yourself to hold yourself accountable and have that discipline to actually follow through with the running. Okay? Because if you decide to run first and get better shoes later, you're going to get injured, and it's going to make your running journey a lot more difficult than what it has to be. So, in the beginning, invest in a good pair of shoes, go to a running store, get fitted, make sure that the shoes that you're investing in are good for your stride and your anatomy. Most running stores will check you out and give you some sort of analysis to make sure that the shoes you are buying are going to be right for you. So, do not skimp out on the shoes. I know it's an investment, but you're worth that investment, especially if running is on your heart. All right? Number 4 is running too fast. In the beginning, I thought that the point of running was running fast. So I would run really hard, but then after a couple minutes I would have to walk. And that was really discouraging because I wanted to run and I wanted to run continuously. But every couple minutes I was out of breath and huffing and puffing, and I was really frustrating myself for really no reason, because once I realized if I slowed down a little bit, I could actually run farther without getting out of breath, without needing to take walk breaks, and I could go further and feel better as I was running. So if you feel like you're discouraged, if you feel like you're always out of breath, if you feel like running is really, really hard, I kind of dare you to run a little bit slower. Slow down a little bit, because we can work on speed later. You absolutely can work on the speed later. Let's get you going. Let's build a solid foundation first, and then go back and increase your speed. For now, go at a slower pace. Let yourself really feel into the breathing while running. The key is not to start to hyperventilate. You should kind of stay in that period where you could still have a conversation. That's called the talk test. I know that I will do a video on that later. But make sure that you can hold a conversation, or can you sing the ABCs? Could you talk a full sentence or two? If you can do that while you're running, you're probably going at a pretty decent pace. If you're running and you can only say like 1 or 2 words and you're huffing and puffing or hyperventilating, or you couldn't maintain a conversation, you're going too fast. Slow down. As a personal trainer and running coach, I promise you, trust the process. Okay? I had to learn this on my own as a runner, but as a coach, I see this in my clients too. And I wish I could give you a better explanation right now, but it's best to just say, trust the process. Okay? Slow down. Your body will adjust. Our bodies are masters at adaptation. Our bodies are masters at changing to what's required of them. If you teach your body to run, you will get better, you will get faster, you will be able to go farther. But do not start out running too fast. Slow down, trust the process, okay? And the last one, big mistake that I made, is I was just not consistent. When I started running, I was a new mom, I was going to school, I was working, and running was just kind of not a huge priority of mine. So I would run maybe once or twice a week, every couple weeks, and I got really frustrated because my running was just not improving, and I didn't really understand why until I realized that consistency is the key. Consistency is the key to improving your running, to be able to go further and to go faster. Consistency is hugely important. So my biggest suggestion is to pick 3 or 4 days a week that you're going to commit to running, and commit to those days. 3 days a week. What 3 days a week are you going to run? Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday? What's it gonna be? Can you pick 3 days that you can commit to running? 3 days per week for the next month or 2 months or 3 months. How much better are you going to be when you start to incorporate that consistency and that discipline into your life? Okay, so those are the 5 biggest mistakes that I made when I first started running. Looking back now as a very experienced runner, as a coach, these things feel so simple, and in the beginning they didn't seem that important. But now as a coach, these things are critical. If I want to, PR a race, if I want to get the top in my age group, these are the things that I have to focus on, right? These are the things that I need to narrow in on when it comes to training, right? Narrowing in on the perfect warm-up and making sure that the strength training is on point and enhancing my running. Making sure I have the right type of shoes that are going to allow me to perform the best, making sure that I'm training correctly and that I'm having a good balance of easy runs and long runs and speed work, and that I'm balancing out that training and not just going hard all the time. And the last one is making sure that you're consistent, okay? Because running is a habit. And the more times that we can say yes to running, the more it's just going to become a part of who we are and what our lifestyle is. So allow yourself to say yes to running. Allow yourself to step into this lifestyle of being a runner and allowing it to be a part of your life, because you guys are on the verge of something wonderful. Okay, so that's it for me today, you guys. I will talk to you very soon. Bye.